Come with me if you want to live.
There are certain things audiences across the world expect to hear from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Get to the chopper! Hasta la vista, baby.
You hit like a vegetarian.
I stress to eat less meat. I eat meat much less than I ever did before.
And this was not one of them. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been an entertainer for as long as I can remember. But to leave Arnie's description at entertainer, I feel doesn't paint a complete picture. I'm sure many other guys my age would agree that Arnold Schwarzenegger was, and in the eyes of many, still is, the f***ing man.
I reject the support of white supremacists. The country that defeated Hitler's armies is no place for Nazi flags. Was that difficult? You see, I told you.
Dare I say it, an epitome of masculinity for an entire generation. Who didn't at some point want to be just like the super strong Conan the Barbarian, or the unstoppable Terminator, who saves the day when the world needs you? I know I did.
You, not you. You and me.
But why? Why on earth would Arnold have this change of heart about meat and betray his macho persona? Why would he risk his testosterone-fueled fan base? Well, to answer that question, we have to be brave and look at some really scary numbers that have triggered Arnold into save the world mode. As much as the status quo would like to convince us otherwise, we're currently stuck in one of those world-ending scenarios from an Arnold movie right now in real life, with the United Nations and other organizations producing report after report on the devastation animal ag is having on the environment and our own well-being. For example, the fact that the livestock sector accounts for 9% of CO2 deriving from human-related activities, but produces a much larger share of even more harmful greenhouse gases. It generates 65% of human-related nitrous oxide, which has 296 times the global warming potential of CO2, or that lamb and beef production emits 66 kilos of CO2 combined, compared with just 8 kilos combined for broccoli, tofu, dry beans, tomatoes, and lentils, or that it takes 3¼ acres of land to feed someone who eats meat, compared with just 1/6 of an acre to feed a vegan, or that animal agriculture alone is responsible for 20 to 33% of all freshwater consumption, or that annually 7 billion livestock in the US meat industry generate 1.4 billion tons of waste, or that the amount of grain fed to US livestock is sufficient to directly feed 840 million people who follow a plant-based diet. It's these kinds of reports that have prompted Arnold to act. Reports about environmental destruction being brushed off by the mainstream media that are going to take some true heroics to conquer. And thus he stated to the BBC in 2015 that 28% of greenhouse gases come from eating meat and from raising cattle, so we can do a much better job. And also adding, I have seen many bodybuilders that are vegetarian, and they get strong and healthy. And most recently, Arnold teamed up with James Cameron on the Avatar soundstage to create the less meat, less heat PSA.
How can I call myself an environmentalist when I'm contributing to environmental degradation by what I eat?
Less meat, less heat, more life.
It seems as though Arnold wants to leverage his position as our generation's tough guy to encourage others to follow suit. And while it's clear that our obsession with celebrity is dangerously out of control, I'm more than happy to see people who have the power to influence take a step in the direction of sanity. But my question to those of you watching is this: in a patriarchal culture where masculinity has been synonymous with things like killing, violence, and eating animals, could changing what it means to be masculine
You hit like a vegetarian.
Less meat, less heat.
be an effective strategy to combat animal agriculture? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Brian Hernandez, Plant-Based News.